During this year's Comic-Con, Robert Downey Jr. was revealed as the actor who would portray Doctor Doom in the upcoming Marvel films. And while some fans were disappointed in this news, hoping for Cillian Murphy or Mads Mikkelsen, I personally couldn't have been more thrilled to hear this. Here's why I think Robert Downey Jr. is the absolute best choice for this role. We all loved Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr.'s on-screen charisma has forever changed the superhero genre. But what would he look like as a villain? If you're a huge Marvel nerd like me, you may have noticed in several films that Iron Man isn't actually too far from villain potential, and there's several instances where he crosses that line. Both Doctor Doom and Iron Man are characters that are full of nuance and complexity, and both Doom and Iron Man are characters that are ultimately seeking a common goal, and that's world peace.
I have successfully privatized world peace. What more do you want?
Robert Downey Jr. himself is even quoted saying that he enjoys playing nuanced characters.
I like playing complicated characters.
And Iron Man was certainly full of nuance. There's plenty of key moments in the Infinity Saga that allude to Iron Man crossing the line of villainy. Let's look at some stark examples in the movies that support this theory. Get it? Okay, I'm sorry.
I do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
In Iron Man 2, we see Tony's rise to fame begin to get to his head. As he begins to struggle with the world growing with threats and a government that demands accountability, he ultimately decides to put his own personal interests over the safety of others, which almost cost him his friendship with Rhodey and his life. I mean, just look at this scene where he has a birthday party at his house that goes completely south. He completely ignores both Rhodey and Pepper's advice, leading to a huge blowout fight between him and Rhodey that literally destroys his entire house. I mean, that's total villainy right there.
He needs some milk!
For our next example, in Avengers Age of Ultron, we see Tony plagued with a vision of the dead Avengers, leading him to impulsively create the artificial intelligence Ultron with Bruce Banner, which ultimately leads to the death of thousands of Sokovians and Wanda's brother Pietro. I mean, Tony literally almost ended the world. And yes, he did work with the Avengers to save it, but still, that's some real underhanded villainy right there, gamers. Then, in Captain America Civil War, Tony, in my opinion, goes full tilt villain. Yes, I'm Team Cap, get over it.
Your booze mean nothing, I've seen what makes you cheer!
Motivated by his guilt from what happened in Sokovia, Tony signs the Sokovian Accords, commanding government oversight for all superhero activity, which leads to the disbanding of the Avengers and the severing of his relationship with Steve Rogers. I mean, he literally recruited Spider-Man, a 15-year-old kid, to come fight the other Avengers in Germany to stop Captain America and the Winter Soldier from getting on a flight. That's low-key crazy. Now, one could argue that each of the decisions he made in those movies weren't necessarily evil, but well-intentioned ideas that led to really bad outcomes. But on that same note, this is eerily similar to Doctor Doom, because anyone who read the Secret Wars comics knows that Victor creates Battleworld because he believes it's the only way to save a collapsing multiverse, which honestly sounds like something Tony Stark would do. Remember when he says,
I don't want to hear the man was not meant to meddle medley. I see a suit of armor around the world.
Sounds like a cold world, Tony.
I've seen colder.
I mean, Doom literally creates Battleworld to save the universe, so it seems eerily close to that sentiment. Now, at this moment in time, we don't necessarily know if Doom is a Tony Stark variant or if it's just Victor Von Doom himself. And diehard comic fans know full well that there are plenty of comic runs where Tony dons the Doom mantle and vice versa. But if I'm being honest, I think it would be a little corny if they try to play off Robert Downey Jr. as a completely new character. He's just too recognizable to make it work. Although one could argue they pulled it off with Chris Evans, so who knows? But knowing that Marvel is already deep into the multiverse saga, having Doom as a Stark variant would make the most sense, in my opinion. And there's already a massive clue in the MCU alluding to this idea that everyone seems to miss. And before we dive into this, a warning for spoilers ahead. Obviously, it's theory time, boys. In Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, it's alluded to that dreams are revelations of other variants in an alternate universe. This is pretty much the basis of the whole movie. I mean, we could honestly make a whole video just to explain this concept. But if you remember in Avengers Infinity War, Tony says to Pepper,
You're totally rambling.
No, I'm not.
Lost me.
Look, you know how you're having a dream, and in the dream you gotta pee?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're like, oh my God, there's no bathrooms, what am I gonna do? Oh, someone's watching, oh, I'm
and then
gonna
you
go
wake
my
up,
pants.
and in real life, you actually have to pee.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Everybody has that.
Right, that's the point I'm trying to make. Apropos of that, last night, I dreamt. We had a kid. So real. We named him after your eccentric uncle. What was his name?
Right.
Morgan. Morgan.
So you woke up and thought
Naturally.
that we were,
Expecting.
yeah,
Yes?
no.
I had a dream about it. It was so real.
which would, in theory, confirm the existence of a Tony variant that has a wife and kid before the events of Endgame. Now, back to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In the second act of the movie, Doctor Strange is captured by Mordo and brought before the Illuminati in Universe 838, and he's escorted in by what looks like Ultron robots. In my opinion, this concedes the existence of a Tony Stark in this universe, who presumably succeeds in creating a stable Ultron in this universe. Now, in the comics, Iron Man is actually a standing member of the Illuminati, and although he doesn't appear in the movie, there's a high chance that he's somewhere in that universe, considering there's an empty chair in this scene. I mean, come on, bro, there's an empty chair! He's gotta be the guy that's sitting in it. Just look at the chair. It's empty.
Whose chair is that? Who bought that goddamn chair? That's not my chair. Not my chair, not my problem. That's what I say.
My theory is that after Wanda unalives the Illuminati in Universe 838, the absent Tony Stark variant discovers the death of his friends in the Illuminati, and in an attempt to prevent another multiversal threat, causes an incursion, wiping out his galaxy and his family, thus beginning his path of villainy, leading to Tony Stark becoming the Doctor Doom of the MCU. Pretty good theory, right? Right? But all theories aside, Robert Downey Jr. is a phenomenal actor, and this wouldn't be his first time as a villain either. Robert Downey Jr. portrays Wayne Gale in the film U.S. Marshals alongside Tommy Lee Jones. It's actually a great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely give it a watch. So he certainly has the chops to pull this off, regardless of the direction they take with Doom, and I'm personally thrilled to see what he brings to the role. Doctor Doom is easily one of the most important villains of all time in the Marvel Universe, so it's understandable that fans are nervous about his portrayal. I mean, it's not like Marvel would ruin a portrayal of a villain, right? Right?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the is that?
After all, nothing can be worse than that 2015 Doom from Fantastic Four. I mean, seriously, what the hell is that?
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
What do you guys think? Are you excited to see Robert Downey Jr. back in the MCU? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Excelsior, gamers.
You're still here. It's over. Go home. What are you expecting? Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number? Go.